This story now, Zambia is in a period of national mourning following the death of former President Edgar Lungu. But the return of his body from South Africa has been halted yet again, this time by his family, who accuse the government of breaching key funeral agreements. Tensions are rising over who controls the late president's send-off. And we now cross to our Lusaka correspondent, Davies Sikopo, for the latest on this developing story. Arthur, thank you for joining us. Always great catching up with you. How are you on this Thursday?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I'm great. And how are you this morning?
I'm good, thank you so much. A surprise turn of events. Just yesterday, we crossed live to Lanseria Airport, where our reporter Michael Mbewe was telling us that there's a process of the repatriation of the remains of Edgar Lungu that are going to be shipped out of South Africa into Zambia. And now it's been halted. Arthur, what exactly led to the family's decision to halt the return of Edgar Lungu's remains from South Africa?
Well, so exactly what led to the family halting the repatriation of the body of former President Edgar Lungu to Zambia from South Africa was that the family has got concerns, and these concerns are arising from the meetings that they have been having with the Zambian government or the state. So they had agreed on certain things, such as the family repatriating the body privately to Zambia, and among other things. But to their surprise, a day later, a day before, there was a program which was released by the Zambian government, which didn't include some of those concerns which they agreed upon as a government and, of course, as a family. And those raised concerns with the family, and that is one of the reasons why they had to halt this repatriation of the body to Zambia. And one of the reasons was that they had agreed that when the body of former President Lungu comes to Zambia, it will be taken to Chifwema, where he used to stay. But the Road Development Agency had instituted some works around the road where Edgar Lungu used to stay. So some of those were the concerns by the family that, why is the government now trying to work on the roads when they know that we already have a program of moving the body of Edgar Lungu to and from his house for body viewing and for other processes within the country. So those are some of the concerns that the family has had.
So according to the family, the fault is on the Zambian government side, not the South African side, because that's what I wanted to clarify when the family was saying that there was a release of a funeral program and that was not with consultation. It's from the Zambian government side.
Yes, so they have been in consultation, and hoping that they continue with some of these consultations, because the family has been skeptical from when they saw the change of the program and all those things. So, but they are hopeful that probably these talks will continue. That is from the government side. So we saw a statement coming from the secretary to the cabinet, who said that they'll keep on engaging the family as a state, and of course using other mediators in this particular process, and that President Hakainde Hichilema will soon address the country when it is appropriate, and when they obviously have got enough information on the processes that are yet to be undertaken.
How much of these complaints from the family is part of traditional practices, and to what degree can we understand it in terms of a political and a sentimental grievance playing out? Well,
others would say that there's a lot of politics which is at play, and obviously coming from his political party, the Patriotic Front. But others are saying that it is just that they are grieving, and that is why they are coming up with all these demands and all that. So it is a mixed, a broad issue. In terms of maybe family concerns, in terms of maybe traditions and all that. I think there hasn't been much in terms of what was discussed with the government in terms of tradition. Well, they of course wanted to take the body of Edgar Lungu to Petauke, where he was coming from, but the state of course objected to that, and they had agreed that they will not take the body that side. So everything was just supposed to be done from Lusaka, and little about traditions.
The former President Lungu reportedly had said that he does not want President Hichilema near his funeral. Was that demand ever formally agreed to, and how has this now played out into this current standoff?
So indeed, yes, according to the family, yes, President Edgar Lungu said that he didn't want President Hakainde Hichilema to come close to his body and during this particular period and till he's buried. But in the meetings which they had, they had come to a compromise where a state funeral was accorded, and of course the one who was going to lead the state funeral was the president of Zambia, the current president of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema. But yesterday, when the family gave this particular briefing of halting the body from coming to Zambia, they put across that particular point that former President Edgar Lungu did not want President Hakainde Hichilema to be there, and their concern also was that on the program it was written that President Hakainde Hichilema was going to lead this particular funeral. So those are some of their concerns, and for now it obviously remains to see whether now they are whether these talks whether they'll agree after resuming obvious talks that they're going to resume.
Was there no will in place for Edgar Lungu, the former president, or is that to the family's discretion? Because clearly that would settle this matter.
Publicly, we have not heard of any will. Probably it is maybe up to the family's discretion, but publicly we have not heard any will. We know that our late president Mwanawasa did a will, and for him, in fact, he did it even on video. So for Mwanawasa, it was very easy, and of course he died in office, but it was very easy, and we didn't have all these all these changes and all these issues happening around. Of course, he died in office, but he had the will. But for Edgar Lungu, we do not know whether that was in place. But publicly, we don't know whether that was in place. But probably, maybe it is with the family. Yeah. We're not sure.
All right. So, what is the role that the Opposition Patriotic Front is playing in all of this? What are they saying, and how are they framing this dispute?
For the Patriotic Front, they have been going with the reasons and, of course, the concerns from the family, and they have been very much in support of that. Of course, some people would say that some of the top leaders, such as the Vice President and the Secretary General of the Patriotic Front, Given Luminda and Rakona Kachinda, have been influencing the family. But of course, they have come out in open say that they are not influencing the family. And the elder sister to President Edgar Lungu came out in open to say that it is us, the family, who are making this, and not the Patriotic Front or anyone from the political sector.
How are ordinary Zambians reacting to this uncertainty, especially given that 16-day mourning period?
Well, Zambians, as of Sunday, when the press briefing, when a joint press briefing was held by the government and the family, things became clear, and of course the tense situation which was there, became it eased up. But as of yesterday, when this announcement came through, I think confusion has come back again. Because now people do not know what is really happening, and others are now saying that let them just bury just where they are. And of course, we've gotten a hint from one of the local media that are claiming that there is that particular aspect of wanting to bury in South Africa and resume the remains of Edgar Lungu later on. But we're not yet sure whether that is true. So, but there's some mixed reactions to this. Others are saying that we are tired now. now of this particular drama. Let's just close the chapter and we move on as a country, because various sectors are affected by the national mourning and all this funeral which is happening.
And talking about the affecting of the various sectors, there are financial implications involved. Logistical costs are involved here. The storage of the remains of Edgar Lungu, as well as transportation costs. With all these delays, is the family prepared to be able to intervene and cover those costs? So are they asking for the Zambian government to step in?
Well, for the family, they have been clear from the onset. They have made it very clear that, they will do it on their own, and they do not need government to come in any way. So they will repatriate their body, and of course, they will take care of everything that, is involved until his body is brought to Zambia. So obviously, they are comfortable with whatever is going on in terms of finances, and they're just looking at their pockets in terms of covering all those costs.
Do we know if there's been any calls in terms of the South African government's intervention, or is this simply between the Lungu family and the Zambian government?
Well, generally it has been between the Lungu family and, of course, the Zambian government. But we are informed that former presidents from the region and, of course, some current presidents from the region have been involved in terms of trying to mediate all this matter. And, of course, we can probably maybe just, assume that, of course, the South African government could be also part of these talks. Or obviously, maybe President Ramaphosa could be part of those people that are talking to the family and talking to the government. But we are not yet sure. But the only thing that we've been told is that there are some former presidents within the region, and of course some current presidents within the region that have been talking to both the family and the state.
It would be very interesting, and maybe this is going to be a developing story, and we predicted that it will be yesterday, to hear from a family spokesperson, because when it comes to family matters and the deceased, as you say, some are saying the family is grieving, and somehow that affects the thinking processes, and also the statements that are issued might not even be from the entire family, it might be from a few individuals. We know how it plays out on the African side of things. Besides politics in terms of families and who gets to say what and who gets heard and whose voice is louder than the others. So it will be interesting to get a family spokesperson to just hear their side of the story, because this needs to be resolved. What is next to happen, likely to happen in your view, Arthur? Well,
for me, from when I heard the family spokesperson, saying that at some point, one day, the remains of Edgar Lungu may come to Zambia. For me, I think that is signaling that there could be some plans of probably maybe taking long to bring back this body to Zambia, or probably using maybe very private means and to bring back the body, without maybe announcing. And maybe Zambians will only be told that the body is in the country, maybe after being thrown, secretly, because their contention has been much with the government. So that is their contention. So for me, I think anything is likely to happen. They can keep the body outside in South Africa for some time, or maybe even bury, or maybe they might sneak it in, secretly. And maybe, then now let the Zambians know that the body is in the country. For now, we are not yet sure of their plans.
Right. Let's leave it there for now. Thanks again for your time and joining us from Lusaka.
Thank you so much, and have a good day.
Thanks, Arthur. Our Lusaka correspondent, Arthur Davies Sikopo, giving us the latest on the ongoing funeral dispute surrounding former Zambian President Edgar Lungu. Funerals have disputes within their family political structures as it is. Now imagine adding the national political structures to that, and that this was a statesman. So even the Zambian people feel some type of ownership and for the family to release him so they can also pay their respects. A tug of war, that one. 20 minutes past 7.
Africa at Play.